Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about something a little bit personal. Now you might be thinking, what do you mean? What's so personal? I mean, it's not really that personal. It's just something that I haven't really openly talked to people about, and I thought I might as well discuss it with you guys and, let people know that if they're experiencing the same stuff, then it's not weird and that other people experience the same things as well. Basically today I'm just going to be talking about friends, or in my case, my lack of friends. And you might be thinking, what do you mean? You have friends? Like, I have friends, but I don't really have anyone who I'm like super close to or anyone who I would consider my quote-unquote best friend. I just have I have a lot of acquaintances and they're fine, but I've always just thought about like how some people have really close friends and they have like one person who they're like super close to, whose company they enjoy more than their own, and they're just like super comfortable with this one other person. Like, I've never really had the chance to experience that, and I don't know why that is. Like, I've never blatantly outright been like, I don't want any friends. Like, that's never been the case, and I don't think that's the case for anyone. But I've just realized as a pattern, like being myself for 21 years, I've just realized that I don't really have any close friends. And I just wanted to discuss and be like, are you guys on the same page? Am I just the complete anomaly? Like, are there other people who also go through this thing? I don't know. From literally as young as I can think of, I've had friends. I've always had friends, but I've only had friends in the situation where I got them. So for example, like school friends, I've only really been friends with them through school. Now that I'm out of school, it's like I don't really have contact with them anymore, nor do they ever reach out to me, and I just don't talk to them anymore. Or like friends I met at uni, same thing. I went to uni and I thought, oh my god, these people are like my forever people. Like, I thought that we got along so well and I thought these people are gonna be like my besties for life. No, literally, even in uni, they wouldn't invite me to stuff. And this is like a plague that I have been dealing with since forever, is not being invited to shit. And I don't know why that happens. I mean, I remember I told my uni friends about it. I was like, why don't I get invited places? And they were like, oh, it's because you live so far away. And it's like, okay, but I literally make a trek out to the city every single day. You know, I used to do that for uni. I used to go to the city every single day. I was like, what's one more day trekking to the city? Well, who's that gonna hurt? You know, like, a 45-minute train ride is not a big deal to me. I will catch it. The idea is, why didn't they have the thought to invite me? Even now to this day, like now that I'm I did my course at uni, I don't really have contact with any of them. They all kind of mingle with each other, but no one has ever been like, hey, Ananya exists, we should invite her. That's never happened. And so I'm always like, well, why? Like, why? Just send me an invite. Unless they don't like me, but they've never really shown to me that they don't like me. And then I was like, maybe it is the distance, but then it's like, I've never not traveled the distance. If someone invites me, I'm going to go if I want to go. You know, I find that so weird. It was one of my friend's birthdays, like yesterday, and you know how people post things on their stories, like the Instagram stories and stuff, being like happy birthday, and they have like a collage of photos and they'll post it on their story, and then whoever birthday it is, they will reshare it, like repost it on their own story. Yeah, I realized that this friend of mine had like so many slides on her Instagram story all about just people giving her like birthday posts, and I was like, what? That's never happened to me. Literally never. I can't even tell you when that's happened. I get like a few people commenting on like my Facebook timeline when it's my birthday. I get a few personal messages, but it's nothing as extensive as what some of my other friends get. A lot of people have a group. They have a group that they go out with. They have a group that they like do things with. And I thought I got that in uni. Like I thought they were my group, but turns out they weren't. Okay, and then I spoke to, you know, I thought about it. I was like, why are they not talking to me? And then I was like, maybe I need to initiate. So I used to initiate, if not all the conversations, I used to initiate most of the, hey, we should hang out. Hey, do you want to hang out sometime? Hey, do you want to meet up sometime? Hey, let's catch dinner sometime. Let's do this, let's do that. I used to do that all the time. And so a part of me, I was just like, hey, what if I just didn't? What if I didn't initiate for once? What would happen? I tried that and literally nothing happened. No one ever initiated anything with me. And I remember being like, what? Like, I got so sick of being the one making the effort always. And it's really draining when you're the only one making effort. Like, you cannot have any kind of relationship, friendship, romantic, whatever. You can't have anything unless both people are putting in some kind of effort. I need to know that you're just as interested in hanging out with me as I am with hanging out with you. It used to bug me. It used to bug me so much when it would just be me reaching out constantly and me constantly being like, hey, how are you? How's everything going? How have you been? It's so frustrating and it takes so much energy. And being quite introverted myself, I was like, oh my God, it takes extra energy for me because I need to pretend to be kind of extroverted and initiate these conversations. It's so, I'm sorry, my face is really itchy for some reason. Anyways, it took a lot out of me to constantly initiate these conversations. I mean, I have a few instances in mind where things have happened and I'm just like, I swear sometimes people forget I exist. I kid you not. I think people sometimes forget I exist. Like, there was this time when I have a lot of stories from my uni group because it was like quite recent and they're still quite fresh in my brain. But I remember one time after class, the uni group was like, hey, we should, you know, there was like a play happening in the evening and they were all like, hey, do you want to come watch the play? And I was like, sure. I mean, I'd planned to stay back anyway. So I was like, sure, yeah, I can stay back a few hours. And they were like, great, well, we're going to go get some Oporto before, you know, have some dinner before we see the play and then we can all just go home. And I was like, great. And I kid you not, at uni I used to carry a lot of things because I did a diploma on acting, like stage and screen performance at NIDA. So you know, there were some days when you had to do acro, and when you had to do acro, you had to bring a yoga mat and, you know, things. I always had things. And because I traveled from so far, I would always keep extra snacks because I would leave obnoxiously early in the morning. So I would have snacks for like the train ride there and then the train ride back home. Basically, I had like a big lunchbox that I used to carry in my backpack with a huge bottle of water and a yoga mat, depending on the days when I had to carry a yoga mat. So I was like, hey guys, just hold on, like give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna put my bag and like everything in my locker. I'll be like max 5 minutes. And they were all like, yeah, no problem, no problem. Okay, so I strolled up, and mind you, the lockers were like a little bit far away, but I walked up to the lockers, put all my bags and stuff, you know, took out my wallet, did all that stuff. Came down and went back outside to see if they were still there, and no one was there. And I was like, oh, the audacity, excuse me? Like, there was no one there. And I was like, huh? And then I looked and they were like, I kid you not, like a kilometer away. They were literally a kilometer away. They were like 2 tippy streetlights away. I don't know what that's, the pedestrian crossing. They were like 2 sets of pedestrian crossings away. And I just stood there for like a few seconds, like, I was so pissed off. I mean, I get pissed off occasionally, but in that moment I was so pissed off, and I basically just ran to them, and once I caught up to them, I was like, why didn't you guys wait? And they just simply said, oh, we didn't think we got that far, we thought you could catch up. And I was like, that's not the point. I didn't tell them this, but in my brain I was like, that's not the point. The point is, if you say you're gonna wait, just wait. Even if you're going 2 centimeters to the left, if you say you're okay to wait for me, wait for me. How hard is it? I didn't even take that long. I literally rushed because I was like, oh, I have people waiting for me. I could have taken my time, you know, if that was the case. And they could have been like, nah, we'll meet you there. That's fine too. But if you say you're gonna wait, just fucking wait. What's so hard about that? It pissed me off. I remember I confronted them about it. I was like, hey, what the fuck was that? What was that? Like, why did you guys not wait? And they were literally so oblivious. And one of the girls was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you felt so strongly about that. Like, sorry? It's just common decency. Like, if you're gonna say you're gonna wait for someone, then you're gonna have to wait for them. I don't care what you're... I don't know, it pissed me off. Also, like, they go out all the time. I don't get invited. Ever. And do I ever get invited? No. They invite this one girl who lives further away from the city than I do. They invite her, but they don't invite me. I mean, I remember this one time really clearly was one of my uni friends. She texted me and she was like, I know this is super last minute, but I really need someone to read for my self-tape. And I was like, sure, when do you want me to come over? Like, I can do it. And she was like, oh, can you come over tomorrow? And I was like, sure, what time? She said, this girl said 7 a.m. and she lives all the way in fucking Maroubra. At the time, she lived in Maroubra. And I was like, it's like a 50-minute drive from here. So I was like, oh shit, okay. But I was still like, yeah, sure, I'll come over. And she's like, I'm so sorry to bother you. And it's like, no, it's okay, I'll come, you know, I'm happy to help. So I kid you not, I left my house at 6 and I was like rushing over there. Well, not rushing, I'm a very safe driver. I drove the speed limit, perfectly fine, very safe. But the point is, I left really early to get there by 7. I got there, I helped her with the self-tape, it was great. We even went out for like, I think it was 8 or 9 when we were done. So we even like went out for breakfast and stuff. And it was great. And I was like, oh, I think she's a friend. One time I asked her, hey, do you mind? Like, I need a reader. And at this point we were in COVID, so she didn't even have to travel. She just had to be on Zoom with me. And I asked her like, hey, can you be a reader for my self-tape? And I was like, hey, it's just through Zoom. No biggie. You don't have to travel. I get it. It's a bit hard. All good. She didn't even... I don't know why I said she was like, she didn't even respond. I think she read it, but she didn't even respond. And I was like, okay. I was confused. I was like, girl, I traveled so far. I reached your place at 7 a.m. I dedicated like 2.5 hours to you. And I helped you. I made your self-tape amazing. I helped you out. We even went out for freaking breakfast. Mind you, she paid for breakfast, which I thought was really sweet. But I was like, why didn't she offer to help? Because when people ask me to help them, a lot of times I'm like, even if it's uncomfortable to me, I'll still say yes, because karma, I want good karma. And it's like, if I help people, I know that they're gonna remember it, and eventually someday they'll be like, if I ever need help, they'll be okay to assist me, you know? But I swear, all of these people I've had as friends, when I help them out, they don't necessarily remember or they don't care. Because if I in turn say, hey, I really need some help on this, they just kind of either leave me on red, they'll say, oh, let me think about it, or I'll see what I can do, or they'll leave me on some kind of like very vague message, and it's like, okay, okay. Odd, right? Odd. And am I the only one who gets that? Like, are you guys also like experiencing this? I don't know. Oh, my hair got stuck. And then the other thing that I find really odd is Instagram. When you post photos on Instagram, if you look at other people, a lot of girls have other girls commenting on their post being like, oh my god, you're so beautiful, you're so stunning, hashtag heart, like, you know, whatever the hell they post. I don't know, like heart eye emojis, fire emojis. They do stuff and they comment that stuff on these posts, and they'll be like, you're so stunning, honey, you're so beautiful, oh my god. Okay, fast forward, if you have a look at my Instagram and some of my Instagram captions, not saying that I don't get comments like that. I do, but it's like maximum 4 comments. If you look at most of my photos, unless I've tagged people in it, most of my photos, if it's just me, the comments are usually, there's like probably like 3 comments, maybe 4. And I know this is a really like first world problem, and I wouldn't even say it's a problem per se, it's just something I've noticed, that a lot of people tend to comment on other people's photos, but no one tends to comment these things on my photos. Am I saying I need the compliment? No, but it's always nice to be complimented. And when you see other girls hyping up and supporting and being like, oh my god, you're so beautiful, to all the other girls, it's like, well, why don't I get that as well? Like, we have the same friends, you know me, you've known me for such a long time, like, come on, just send me a little. And because they don't do it to me, I don't do it to them either, because I'm a very big believer in like, if you know, like if you don't invite me somewhere, I'm not inviting you. If you don't do something for me, I'm not doing something for you. I'm a very big believer in that stuff, and that's because I want things to be fair, and I don't think it's fair that I put in all this effort for no return, you know? So since when they used to comment stuff on my profile, I would, you know, comment stuff on their pictures and be like, oh my god, stunning, gorgeous. But when they don't do it to me, I don't do it to them either. Like, I don't see the reason to do that. So maybe that's why, maybe I need to start commenting on theirs again. But again, how many things do I have to freaking initiate? It's kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying. Or just the fact that, you know, a lot of people have like a person they would call, like, you know, when it's like, oh, who would you call if you were in an emergency and you needed help straight away? I wouldn't call any of my friends. Do I trust that they would show up for me at any time? No, I don't think any of them would. And it kind of hurts me to say that, because it's like, oh geez, I thought I had like a few decent friends, but I don't think any of them would. I really don't think so. And that's odd, because I would think that if they were to call me for any kind of issue, I would be like, sure thing, and I would be there like as soon as I can, if I'm free, obviously. If I'm not, then I would work around it, or I'd be like, yeah, I'm coming after work, like, you know, I would make time for you. And I can't say I would think I don't think I would receive that back. And I've tried talking to my mum about it, and I've been like, what am I, like a friend repellent? Why do people just not like me? And she was like, maybe it's because you're so close to me, like me meaning my mum. She's like, maybe it's because you're so close to your mum. Maybe, but I think I've gotten extra close to my mum out of almost what feels like necessity. Now, think about it like this, right? Not saying my mum's not a great person. She's great. She's amazing to talk to and really good advice giver. And, you know, I'm really grateful to have her in my life. 100%. But I think if I had like a best friend, like someone who I was genuinely close to, someone who I genuinely shared all my secrets with, and you know, she would tell me all her secrets, and you know, someone genuinely who I got along with in a pure best friend kind of thing, I don't think I would be as super tight to my mother, if that makes sense. I think because I haven't had any good friends growing up, or any like decent, strong friendships growing up, I think that's why I got so close to my mum. Because my mum is a great mum. Like, you know, that's a fact. So I think the only reason I got so close to her was because I had no one else to vent to. You know, like when things were piling up in my brain, when I was like, oh my God, I'm so stressed, I need to like do this, or this person's annoying me, and this is what's happening. Because I didn't have anyone else to vent to, I had to vent to my mum. Because she's quite literally the only person who would listen. And that's why I think I'm so close to her. Well, I think I would have been close to her anyways, but that's why I think I am so as close to her as I am now. And I think that can be intimidating for some people, but my relationship with my mother shouldn't intimidate you. What the hell? What? It's not like I'm gonna make my mum part of the friend group. No. She's like, what? That should have nothing to do with it. And then my mum was like, maybe it's because you seem like you have a very put together life. And it's like, do I though? I don't have a put together life. I'm a freaking struggling actress who's trying to do things, who's first of all too scared to self-promote, because I don't know, the idea of self-promotion scares the shit out of me. But you know, she's trying to do stuff, and she's working as a dental assistant on the side, and I'm a girl who just doesn't necessarily have her life together. It may look like it, but looks aren't the whole story. Just because I look put together and like I have my life sorted doesn't mean I actually do. So I thought that was really pointless. I was like, whatever. And then she's like, maybe it's because you have a bit of a resting bitch face and no one approaches you. And it's like, okay, but I hardly ever have a resting. If I'm out with people and I'm enjoying my time, I'm not going to be sitting there moping and like having a resting face when I don't need to. If I'm enjoying myself, I'm not going to have a mean resting face. So I was like, I don't know, that wasn't a good enough reason. In primary, I remember there was this one girl who I desperately wanted to be my best friend, like desperately. Looking back at it now, I was like, maybe I had a little incy-wincy crush on her. I don't know, but at the time, oh, there's a bug. Where did it go? Oh my God. There's a bug, where'd it go? I don't know where it went, and I didn't have anything to like deal with it. And even then, I don't think I did. It like, that was a thought I had. I was like, maybe it was a crush, but looking at it, I'm like, I don't think it was a crush. I think it was just me looking for friendship in someone, and I realized I look for friendship in the wrong people. And the people who seem to have no interest in having friendship with me, those are the people where I'm like, oh yeah, I need to befriend them right away. And then I end up in disappointment because they don't want to be friends with me. And by that, I mean like in school, like the popular group, you know, I would be like, oh yeah, I want to be friends with them, but they didn't like me. So it was like, I would obviously come back being like, why don't I have any friends? Well, it's like, well, duh, you don't look for friendship in the right people. It was annoying because when I was younger, the people who I should have been making friends with, I didn't, because I didn't think they were up to my standard. I know, I was a bitch, but I think everyone's like that. Everyone's a bit judgy, everyone's a bit shallow, everyone's a bit materialistic. And I mean, I don't blame myself for being that way. That's literally what younger me thought like. I still kind of think like that. I'm still like, oh, I want to be friends with these people and they don't want to be friends with me. Why? It's tough. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't met like quite literally. Maybe my best friend will be the person that I date eventually. I don't know. Maybe I'll find a best friend and a girlfriend. I don't know, because I do at times think that I'm already 21. Do I go out of the house a lot? No, not really. Do I do a lot of things? No, not really. I go out mostly for like family parties if there's things happening, but my whole family goes to those. You know, I travel with my family a lot, and that's because I don't have set friends to go out with. And I mean, I have a family friend of mine who almost every weekend she hangs out with friends. And I was like, how does she do that? And it's because she has a close group of friends. And I was like, but that's one thing that I'm kind of a bit jealous of her about, where she has like a steady group of friends, like a group of friends who actually invite her places, a group of friends who actually want her company, her time. And I was like, damn, can't relate, but I kind of wish that was me. Not saying I'd want to go out every weekend because, again, social battery. If there were people who wanted to hang out with me, that would be amazing. I mean, sometimes even just people, even the idea of someone texting me being like, hey, are you free to hang out sometime? That's like amazing. I haven't received that like in a while to like ever. It's hardly ever happened. And the few times that it happens, I'll obviously be like, yeah, sure, let's hang out. So we'll go hang out. And then after that hanging out, it's like the communication goes back to zero. And it's like, okay, that was very brief. Maybe I like jump to conclusions very quickly. Maybe I come back from hanging out with friends being like, oh great, we're besties now. And I expect that they would want to text me, want to talk to me, because that's what best friends do, right? They like call each other and they want to talk to each other. But like, I guess they wouldn't think that we're besties. So maybe it is a miscommunication thing. Maybe my brain's just like, no, you're besties now. And it's like, you're not besties. Stay in your lane. I don't know. But yeah, at times I do think that because I'm 21 and I don't really go out, I don't really leave the house, blame that on my introvertedness. Sure, that's an aspect, but that's not the whole aspect. I think if I had like a solid group of friends who I used to go out with, or who I would, you know, go for lunches, for dinners, for anything like that, I think I would definitely really enjoy that, you know, because who doesn't like hanging out with their friends? I mean, the only few times that I leave the house is when we have family events. I leave the house with the people I live with, if that makes sense. I leave for a lot of family parties, family events, family stuff. I mean, recently I'm in a play, so that's happening on March 27th. I can put the ticket details in the description if you guys would like to come watch, if you're in the area, that is. But because the play is happening March 27th, I've been going to rehearsals for that like regularly, multiple times a week. So that's kind of like an outing for me. But again, that's not with friends, that's for a play. It's for rehearsal. It's for like work related reasons. But I don't really go out of the house for my own fun. I go out for like family parties, family stuff, family stuff, family friends, or rehearsals at the moment. And I'm just like, I'm like worried that my 20s is just gonna escape and I'm just gonna be stuck in my room, either doing like uni stuff or filming videos, or you know, scrolling on TikTok for 5 hours a day, or watching endless YouTube videos, you know, editing my own YouTube videos, doing stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, I'm kind of worried that my whole 20s is just gonna be stuck in this room, only going out with my family, only going to family events, and that is kind of worrisome, you know. I also hate the idea that, you know, like I was watching a video recently where this person explained that how do you make friends, you make friends by being in a certain situation regularly, like for example school, university, things like that. And so he was like, how do you do that outside of school and uni? You go to like certain places every day. People will start to notice you. You'll realize that some people go there every day as well, and you'll start to like build friendships. But my socially anxious, introverted butt can't even imagine doing that. Like, he used, I think, the example of like a cafe. He was like, if you go to a cafe every day to study and, you know, you do that, like say every evening, you'll notice other people who do that every evening. You'll start, you know, they'll recognize you, you'll recognize them, and slowly it'll move to conversation, and that conversation will blossom into friendship, and, you know, then you'll start hanging out because you're friends now, that kind of stuff. And I was like, that's scary. Like, it seemed scary. I was like, sure, that makes sense on paper, and theoretically it makes sense, and I get it. But can I see myself just randomly going to a cafe every single day just in hopes that there would be other people who visit there regularly who I can be friends with? I don't know. Feels kind of desperate. I don't know. So now my hope is that like I land another play or another production or something, and I make friends through productions. Like my goal is like maybe another part of me is like, maybe one day when I get famous, I'll just buy my friends. I've said that so many times. I was like, if I'm famous, I'm just gonna buy friends. Sad, but true. Then it's like, I'll just have company and they'll have to like me because I'm paying them. I mean, sounds fine to me. I don't know. But again, I'm not in a position to do that. Maybe one day when I'm like rich and famous, I can do that. But that's not right now. So yeah, right now it's like, maybe I'll make friends through other other productions, like if I do other plays, or if I end up getting some movie offers or some TV show offers, maybe I'll make friends in that process. But as of right now, I'm just chilling. Me, myself, and I. Like, sure, my family is there. They're great. Nothing against them. They're fun to hang out with. I've got my cat. She's over there on the other side of the camera, sleeping. She's cool too. But I can't help but wish I just had some friends who weren't my family or my cat. Friends who would actually remember my birthday. I swear every single person I tell my birthday to, within like a week, they'll be like, what's your birthday again? They'll forget. Everyone I've ever met forgets my birthday. It's not that hard. My birthday is October 2nd, 2000. It's like, I don't know, I don't think it's hard to remember. It's maybe because it's my birthday, but I think people struggle to remember it, or they just don't want to remember it, or they don't deem it important enough to remember. I don't know. Don't have time for that. Just something I noticed. Yeah, maybe one day I'll have a friend. Maybe in a distant future I'll have a best friend. I don't know. Anyways, I don't really know what else to say about this topic. I really didn't even have many notes written down. I just thought I would sit here and just discuss things. Yeah, I didn't really like write anything crazy. I just sat down, turned the camera on, and was like, I'm just gonna start talking. I just had a topic and I just started talking about it. I would love to know if you guys can relate to this topic, if you also are like, what the hell, I have like acquaintances but not really anyone I would consider like a friend, or especially not a close friend. And if you also realize these things, or if you can relate to some of the stories that I shared with you, then let me know in the comments below. Obviously, you know, if you're comfortable sharing. It's personal stuff. Don't have to share things you don't want to share, but yeah, it'd be nice to know that there are other people who are also just confused in the world of friendships. That's it for this week's video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. As usual, I'll have my Instagram and TikTok handle in the description box below, so follow me on those if you'd like. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye. I just wanted to add one more thing to that video, and that was the fact that as much as I like wishing I had more closer friends, at the same time I really don't give a shit. Because look, if I think about it this way, it's like people who would want to be with me and be around me will display that. They will show that. They will, you know, put in effort and the people who don't simply aren't worth my time. So I feel like that's something I realized, and I forgot to mention it in my video, but that is something that I realized recently, and that's also why it's like the people who want to will, and the people who don't want to aren't necessary. So yeah, I feel like that is also something that I try to keep in mind. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to add. I forgot that I didn't even put this on my tripod. I'm just using my hand, so it's a bit shaky. But yeah, I just wanted to add that last little tidbit. But yeah, that's all.